A lot of people talk about their Thors being AFK gods and whatnot, but mine isn't. He's a farmer, an aura farmer, so to speak. And this is going to be the best character to farm legendaries and the premium gear you need in order to forge your best builds. All of that and more, but first.
The undefeated, he came and he saw and he conquered. I got a slay at the concert, you know the story, the tortoise in here. You want the glory, your nose in the air. I couldn't care less about your money, phone, and your pair of shoes and your side hose.
What's good, nieces and nephews? Big Unk, Chaos, and I'm here to give you Rune King Aura Farmer Thor, or as I like to call him, Rune King Thor, the Aura Farmer. If you like this type of content and you love Marvel Rivals PvE, be sure to not only let me know in the comment section, but join our Discord. We've had a lot of people joining us lately. It's super fun. We do a lot of carrying, a lot of support, and I'm looking forward to growing with all of you. Now, getting straight into it, I want to be very clear here that this is not the build I would take if I was looking to conquer Nightmare 60. A lot of these people on here either got the pinnacle of gear, or they're showing you footage from like tier 70 or 60 and cropping out those numbers, because in my honest opinion, I ain't seen nobody do it like me, like this, unless they have better gear. Now, when it comes to Aura Farmer Thor, I like to utilize him specifically for gear farming, because on the maps where he has to either kill air out the enemies, you can do that in about 3 minutes, give or take, and get all the way up to the boss. Now, if you're looking for experience to level up your characters, this definitely isn't the best way of leveling someone, as you get more experience from completing the nightmare modes you're on, rather than just killing the monsters. But if you just want gear, there's probably not going to be a better way of doing it. The playstyle is super simple. You just run around and you flex on the YNs and your ops. It's a super easy system. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into Thor's overall gear breakdown and playstyles. First, I'm going to show you guys his most optimal setup. What you want to do is you want to get a map like this where there's few points of entries, and essentially here what you can do is you can basically set your controller alone, you know, AFK, so to speak, but I like to move a little bit just to be sure. Now, for the most part, if I were to lower this about, I don't know, one tier level, so maybe make it Nightmare 95 instead of 105, it'd probably be to a point where I can just stand AFK. But here, just by moving very minimally, I'm getting a ridiculous amount of gear. I believe in the very first round here I get 16, and by relying on these corners and utilizing the space, 22 of them, I'm able to get more gear way more efficiently. Now let's take a look at some of the gear breakdown, traits, and categories. Now, the very first thing I want to do is I want to show you the gear that I have and exactly why I have it set up here. My overall rating is at 26401. You guys can probably pause if you want to see any of my specific stats here. Throughout here, my health, block rate, specific rune bonuses and specials. But the key is going to be my precision damage and some of these extra abilities I get on here. Now, a lot of these weapons have special traits that you can get. They're specific to your character. That's why they have that little purple symbol there on the right hand side. When you see those, they also let you know about them here. So during Awakening, Mjolnir bash projectiles hitting enemies trigger an explosion, dealing about 800 damage. Rune Onslaught, during Awakening, my bash speed goes up 147. Now this is where it's going to get good with the Lightning Domain enhancement effect. That specifically is going to matter because that's going to be the spell field you have that determines how far out your lightning goes. The further it goes, the farther away you have to be from people, which is really good, especially against bosses. The high voltage field enhancement, during Awakening Rune, the damage of the surrounding lightning spell field scales with Mjolnir bash projectile damage. So that's how much damage my little lightning is going to do, and it's based off of my Mjolnir projectile damage. It scales with it, so making that stronger in turn will make my damage stronger. High speed shock enhancement during Awakening Rune, the trigger frequency, so how much it happens, scales with Mjolnir bash attack speed. During Awakening Rune, bash projectile damage goes up about 1100, almost 1200. And lastly, my duration's at 55 seconds. You take a look at my gear, I've got pretty bad output for that first one. I know that doesn't look too great, but the precision damage rate and the frequency was really good for me when it came to the Awakening Rune. I also noticed my high speed shock enhancement isn't exactly what it's supposed to be, but I have a different one, so that can compensate for it. In that regard, I'm getting a little bit more frequency of my attacks anyways, but I'm hoping to fix that in the future. For my armor, you need something that's basically going to make this impossible to run without it. You're going to need S tier or A tier on health restored upon defeating an enemy. Everything else is kind of up in the air, questionable. I mean, you're gonna want about 10,000 health, but you can figure that out with your traits if you need to. But I guarantee you're not gonna get far without restoring health from that. You just need it, especially when some of the elites get on you. You can't kill them as quickly. Sorry, I had a bit of a hiccup there. Now next onto the alchemy amulet. This is probably my worst piece of gear, but once again, that precision damage is nice and the high speed shock enhancements in A. If I swapped anything out for better, it'd be this. I do not need all the healing rune charge, nor do I want block damage. You basically want damage on all three of these gear pieces, unless it's pertinent to your build to have higher defense for like your output or as part of your weaponry, and you want this to be all health. So here I've got, you know, my health restored, and I've got health percentage as well as armor and dodge rate. I prefer that be something like frequency charge of my health runes, but we get what we get. Now, as far as the output and layout of my weapons, I've got 5 on damage output bonus, 5 on output amplification, 5 on critical damage. I choose the attack speed route, and of course I pick all of these, their modified modes, just because I choose 1 to the primary attack speed because you actually will not be scaling lower with that. By doing this, the attack speed goes up, which is that Mjolnir bash, so that's going to make your overall frequency of your lightning go up. 1 into flat health, 1 into critical hit rate, 1 into block mitigation, 5 into output. A lot of people struggle with their overall damage. You got to raise your output, and mine's is only about 700. If I can get that even higher, I'd be doing way better damage. Extra ability boost damage. Now remember, the frequency of it is going to increase my overall rate of lightning, so I chose that, but this is going to be the actual damage. At least from my observations, when I've tested the 50% weapon bonus damage versus this, I've gotten a better result with the ability, except 1 into dodge rate, 5 into precision rate, 1 into armor block, 5 into precision damage, 1 health, 1 ultimate boost, 1 block mitigation, and of course 200% multiplicative precision damage. I also use the cloud piercing thunder. I skipped the ultimate storm. This is not going to be essentially useful at all. You don't want to be firing with your moves. You want to put everything you can into damage or excess health, so you don't need the accelerated blasts at all. Technically speaking, during that, I don't need the Mjolnir bash to pierce enemies as well. I could put that somewhere else, but I don't have anywhere else I needed to put it, and it's not terrible if I want to hit bosses, honestly. Awakening rune trigger frequency, we talked about that in the special category of abilities down here. That's where you're going to see a lot of these come in. My gear makes up a good chunk of that. Don't need the size of the projectiles to get bigger. Makes no difference if they're bigger, since I'm not using that at all. I'm going to want to make sure that, of course, the lightning damage is as high as possible, about, you know, 1300%. Great. 3 into rune radius. I wish I could get mine a little bit higher, but we get what we get. 1 into during rune awakening, the spell field hits deal bonus damage based on the projectile damage of Mjolnir bash. That's what we had talked about earlier. Skipped out on the firing additional bullets on the side. You don't need it. You're not hitting primaries. Again, awakening duration, probably could put that somewhere else, but I honestly like having the duration being that long, so that's good for me. No Diddy, no Drizzy, and of course the attack speed. This is the overall build scheme and traits for Thor. You know, with your Arcana, sorry, not your Arcana, but with your Realm traits, if you don't have everything maxed out at this point, I would get 5 into output, 5 into health, specifically if I wanted to, I guess, climb. But if you're honestly using this build the way you should be, which is farming, in my opinion, the non-boss drops as well as the current difficulty drop rate of the best gear, I think those help. I'm not sure if the best gear matters when it comes to something like anything level after 71 or not per se, because they don't really give us the breakdown. That said, if it does, it doesn't hurt. And if you're questioning that, just put it back into the output boost in general. So yeah, this is going to be my Rune King or Farmer Thor build. I think this build is beyond amazing when it comes to farming gear. Great way to just kind of be a little bit of lazy play, get up some, you know, extra random gear, forge it, and hopefully build some better materials. I think this is the area where Thor shines the most. Whereas everyone in the game has something that they can do really well, I think that this is going to be Thor's bread and butter when it comes to this build. Obviously, if you're able to get everything out to its absolute peak, I'm sure you could be melting bosses like Swiss cheese. But for me, I like to go the route of playing towards damage output, damage reduction, and just keeping him alive as long as possible. I don't need to necessarily kill the boss with this build. You guys have seen my blade build that already breaks that down for the boss killer. But if I want to go for gear, if I want to farm and I don't want to put too much effort into anything, this will be the build I go with. Let me know what you guys think of this. This has been a very fun build to put together. I'm currently about to make Moon Knight next, my Moon Knight build, because he's soaring and flying. But if you want a build that's better for killing off the bosses, be sure to check on the video YouTube's recommending. Should be the Blade Guide for Gunblade Blade. Let me know in the comment section what you want to see next, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. And of course, be sure to tell your auntie I said hi.